So, what is OPM? Short answer, other people's money. You hear a lot of people talk about why OPM is the only way to make it in real estate. And by and large, they're right. Think about it this way. When you go to buy your home, you go to the bank and you get a loan, you're using OPM, the banks, which is really your money if you think about it, but we'll talk about that later. Everyone uses other people's money on a day-to-day basis, whether it's credit cards, home loans, or any other type of debt. We're always using other people's money to fund what we need to do. In real estate, we're using other people's money to, instead of pay for liabilities, we're using it to buy assets. So OPM is leveraging the capital of other partners, lenders, or institutions to purchase assets that then pay you money. Now, how does one use or do OPM? Well, as we talked about earlier in other videos, networking is a key component of OPM. Because by and large, if people are going to lend you money for a project, they are trusting you. It doesn't matter how good the deal is, if the operator does not have experience, isn't trustworthy, or doesn't have your best interest at heart. So the number one way to start getting OPM is talking to individuals who have the capacity to lend to you, proving that you are a trustworthy individual, and leveraging the relationships you already have for referrals to be introduced to other people who might already be lending and you don't even know about it. To use OPM effectively, you need to be able to showcase that 1, you can find good deals, that 2, you have the capacity to execute on those deals via property management, contractors, what have you. 3, you can manage a budget and you can stay on track and project manage effectively. And 4, that you care about your investor. Because remember, any check someone's writing to you as an OPM or other people's money lending opportunity, that's money that might be intended for their kid's college someday or a down payment on their forever home. And so you must be as concerned about getting them their money back as they are and obsess over providing the good quality service that you would expect if you were writing somebody a $100,000 check. In OPM, typically how it's leveraged in the single family space that is I'll find a property for $100,000. I then I'm estimating that my rehab is going to cost $45,000 for an overall property value of $225,000. I'm going to go to my lender and say, hello, I have this property. Here are the numbers on it. Here's why the location's great. Here's why I think it's a good deal. I need from you $145,000. That's going to fund the purchase price and the renovation. Lender says, great. Thank you for the opportunity. I'll write you that check. You guys then determine what your points or returns going to be. Do they want a couple of points, as in a percentage of the purchase and renovation costs paid back to them? Do they want to retain some equity in the deal? Or they just want a return on investment? You'll negotiate what kind of return they want and then get that check for $145,000. And in this case, we'll assume they want a return on investment. I'm then going to go purchase the deal, do the rehab, and after I've done the rehab, I'm going to get a cash out refinance or get a new loan on the property for approximately 70 to 80% of the value. Let's say the property is going to be worth $225,000. And we'll say you're going to get an 80% loan out, 80% of $225,000. Quick math. I think it's going to be, that's about 44,000. So we're talking like somewhere in the 175 range, 170, 175 range. So if I'm all in at $100,000 for my purchase, $45,000 for my rehab, and I just got a check back from the bank for about $170,000, $175,000, I have some room there. I then take the difference between $145,000 and let's say my check for $175,000, and I pay back my investor the $145,000. I then pay back the interest that their loan was. Let's say it was 10% for 6 months, and they got $14,500 back. So that's a total then of $159,000. And now the difference between the $159,000 you just paid back your investor and the $175,000 you just got back from the bank is money you get to take back and keep tax-free. And that is how you use someone else's money to buy a property, fix it, own the property as a rental, use the bank to cash yourself out, pay off your investor, and you're left in the middle with a check for $15,000 tax-free and a cash-flowing asset. That is the power of OPM. And as you scale up higher and higher into something like I do, commercial syndication, we're raising tens of millions of dollars from investors across the nation, and we're using that to buy large-scale apartment complexes. Do the same thing. We raise millions of dollars, buy an apartment complex, fix it up, and then refinance or sell it, and pay back our investors their capital plus a return. And then we take the asset and either we're selling it and then we take a portion of the profits ourselves, or we refinance out of it and we continue to own it for a variety of time. OPM is what allows you to go much faster in the real estate space. And if you want to scale your real estate investing business quickly, I highly recommend you start networking with people, communicating what you do, establishing trust with individuals that potentially could lend to you, and learning how to manage a deal properly. So when the right one comes along, you have the right investor in place and you can use other people's money to start building a portfolio without having to have cash out of pocket. My name is Callahan. That's how you use OPM. Thanks for watching.